welcome to another edition of XFeed. This is like your 30-minute catch up of the day for the past happenings of this morning, of last night, and maybe something that's live. And shout out Pickle yesterday for some of the headlines that were coming out yesterday that I checked and they didn't end up becoming true. So listen, you got to fact check everything. You know what I mean? Anyway, First off, apparently Discord is getting replaced. There's been a lot of concerns around the fact that everything is run through Discord. Specifically for myself, obviously I follow a lot of the Futureverse stuff, and there is a lot of happenings within the Discord, and it seems that almost that's the focal point for staying on top of things, having the extra FAQ sessions. It's not on a website. It's not posted on other social media platforms. It's all on Discord. But I think that there is going to be a realm or a world where that gets shaken up a little bit, and this might be a time where that starts to happen. In this case, for Yuga Labs and Otherside, they are doing their town hall within Otherside itself, and that is happening. Today is Wednesday, so that would be tomorrow, and you do actually have to sign up for it. Register now. Yuga Labs NFT holders need to set up an Otherside Meta account to attend this Thursday's Metaverse meeting. The fact that this is only for holders is kind of interesting. I guess maybe their tech can't handle more people, or the resource. I don't know, right? Like I think there's a lot of people that are always intrigued by these different types of things and having it like gate kept in a way when it's not. I mean, I guess it's an experience and it's cool and you get to kind of like brag about it, but at the same time, it's interesting the choices that are being made kind of across the board. Okay, so In Betweeners, which is a collection that I've highlighted here and there, are saying that they're doing something within the Fidgetal realm. I'm not going to play this video, but suffice it to say, they don't say anything within the video, like at all. Like it's the character here, and they jump from like this fantastical, mystical world, and the video is not even loading. That's freaking fantastic. And it doesn't explain anything, and half the comments are like, "What is this?" It's wild. Anywho, more NFT founders, or Web3 founders more specifically, are talking very bullish. If you haven't noticed, if you've seen any other founders, feel free to let me know in the comments here. But the best part about my job is delivering cope to all the people who didn't believe in us. And that's coming from Luke and Net's Pudgy Penguins founder. And at the same time, Bear Snake from Forgotten Runes Wizard Cult suggest all my new followers read this and share with the homies who are here for the long run and believe in the future of Web3. Forgotten Runes going to roll out a clinic soon. Again, does feel very much like a lot of these teams are kind of waiting for the market conditions to get a little bit better. We have had some playtests in different realms, and Alluvium kind of making some of the first strides here. Obviously Parallel, we have Pixels Online, but it does feel like there is a vast majority of people that haven't really found a home in terms of like what their Web3 game life is going to be. And I'm one of them. I've tried some different things, including Nifty Island here, and Crafter saying been trying to figure out why more of the gaming influencers and projects don't have islands inside of Nifty Island. If you're one of those who doesn't, can you explain why you are fading this highly engaging community platform? What's going on, Tolly? I think one of the problems with this is I was really excited about it initially, and I played it like religiously for, I don't know, maybe like 2 to 3 weeks, and the airdrop, number one, like kind of concluded. They haven't actually airdropped anything, but the points you could earn from that ended, and I'm like, I don't know, do I like really like enjoy this game? Is there a way to find out these other collections and how to like experience something within it? Because there's like capture the flag, there's like team deathmatch and other things, and I felt like I didn't find the platform super like enjoyable. It was fun to be able to connect within kind of like the metaverse atmosphere, and again, same with Otherside, we did that. It was fun seeing the other people, but again, my main complaint with like the Otherside on the recent playtest was like it just kind of felt bland to play, apart from the fact that I was doing it with other people. And I kind of feel the same way with Nifty Island right now. Can play it just for the free airdrop, absolutely, but it just, we're all about having the fun here. Meepo kind of got roasted for making this tweet saying nothing upsets crypto people more than being given free money in the wrong way. And Mike Dudas responds saying locking your capital in a protocol for many months and helping them bootstrap growth and liquidity because they give you points that they promise will turn into tokens is not being given free money. Agreed. And there's been a lot of hiccups as of late within that realm. Now, within the celebrity stature, if you will, I think it plays a big part because if you remember early NBA Top Shot days when some of the players got into it, they were saying, hey, if you send me moments of myself, I will send you like a signed jersey or a ball. And it was like a super one-sided trade, but it kind of broke the barriers. And that's what one of the original narratives was of that. And so I'm always curious if any of them end up getting into the space, but this is kind of a little bit different because it's talking about how Anthony Edwards has gained over 100 million views across NBA social platforms since the playoffs started. Think of the social impact that these guys have. It's insane. Obviously, it helps when Anthony Edwards is doing what he's doing, but still. All right, Blur is live on Blast, and they are giving out 2 million Blast Gold, which again is supposed to turn into these points. And it's kind of funny because within that whole realm here, there was Blastopians that ended up doing extraordinarily well. I think farmers are very excited about Blur being live on Blast. L2 says, Boomer, Blastopians have an interesting thing happening right now. Not only are they up 300%, bids are higher than the floor price at the moment. So insanity. However, you guys watch XFeed and you might have actually seen this, but I brought up Blastopians back in January, and here's what kind of what we said about it. Key to access a portion of the Blast developer airdrop without needing to develop anything on Blast yourself. We will distribute 100% of our developer airdrop towards Blastopian holders. Okay, so let's go back here for a second. And Hillside Homie, good morning, sir. Basically, they're saying that they are going to build on Blast. They are going to get part of that 50% allocation of tokens. And then instead of taking it themselves, they're going to kind of leverage that and say, hey, we're going to give it out to our holders if you buy our NFTs, essentially, from my understanding. And again, this is like my first time going over it, so generational wealth passed right before your eyes if you watch this, if you got in, because those things are trading for 0.26 Ethereum right now. Could have absolutely whaled into it, but if you haven't seen, again, on Blast up in the top right corner, there's like a Blast logo and then ETH, and they a lot of these NFTs absolutely went mooning. As you can see, the one-day change 611% in the green. Blast Yacht Ape Club, one of the derivative things in the 7 days, 700%. Blast Hoods up 700% again. So there is some ways that these protocols are able to kind of juice up their markets that are built around the ecosystem. And Harry Swan, ayo, buying and selling inconsequential NFTs on a new L2 with the sole purpose of farming points to earn tokens. Surely this will take crypto mainstream. Talking about the Blast things makes me sad deep down because my foray into Web3 was for a very different reason, not for effing blatant Ponzi-nomics, says 1K. Very interesting. Kind of agree. We have seen a lot of issues with the points overall for different ecosystems in terms of like people's like expected return on things. But the one thing that has been very consistent is Blur actually, for lack of a better term, paying out in terms of, you know, they've done very, very well for the people that have participated within their point system. So this was yesterday at about 4 p.m. 300 million liquidated from the cryptocurrency market in the past 12 hours. And there was another one that I apparently mucked up the order of my tabs here, but it was saying 150 mil liquidated in the past 4 hours. And we keep going every single day, and you stop for a second and you kind of recount like, okay, it feels like we've had like at least 300 million liquidated like every other day at a minimum. And then we look at like the past month, and if we go to the charts here for Bitcoin in specific, because I feel like a lot of people are going up here. If we go to the month, right, like these are mass amount of moves. We get 68K down to 65, all the way up to 71. We're shooting down here to like 64, back up to, what's that, 66, and then down here to 56. Right? So the leverage trading is going like insane in terms of people getting completely flushed out. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if the market wasn't as volatile as it was, how many of these leverage plays would have not got canned out? Because people are going hard on this, and it's making me think. And we'll get into the CZ stuff here in a momentaro, but back to the one point somebody said about how Binance, you know, these massive market moves aren't made by you and I buying and selling, right? It's these big market players that are kind of moving the market to really amp up the leverage trading markets and obviously try to fleece people out at the same time. Skull Kid, what's going on? How are you? Good morning. Good morning. So, why we believe the next big meta is real world assets and tokenization. The current NFT space is dominated by speculative trading and high value transactions with the need to shift away from the gamble like atmosphere to attract and safeguard new users. I agree. I think that there's a lot of things where we get hyped up about, but not all the times is there kind of like a follow through. Introducing RWAs and tokenization allows for fractional ownership of tangible assets like real estate and luxury goods, enhancing liquidity and market accessibility. And this is coming from Segment. And again, I'm going to be trying to cover more RWA stuff. But what's interesting about this that kind of made me think like, yo, Mo Fluff, good morning, sir, is fractional ownership. Do you guys remember when NFTs had like a big wave of things being fractionalized? What happened to that? It feels like that kind of went away. Obviously, there was regulatory concerns, but is it also like, hey, the value of these things ended up not being what was initially thought, and so because of these, lack of intrinsic value, it's not picked up as much, or is it the regulation concerns? And so for the RWA side, does that play a big part in making it where it goes, right? Where NFTs fractionalized kind of works, but not really. But RWAs fractionalized could, just because of the intrinsic value. A16Z makes 90 million a private purchase of Optimism's OP token. Guys, 90 million is like the market cap of like several like decent coins right now. Like if you go down the list, if you try to check things out right now, 90 mil going straight into Optimism. That's crazy. A16Z being a big player on that front. Some top ETH PFP sales the past 24 hours. Hoodie Punk 105 ETH, Spiritizuki 70 ETH, Death Bot BAYC 18.75, and then a robot Moonbird. Guys, people are buying the Moonbirds. Pretty crazy. If you haven't seen, Moonbirds did announce kind of a new universe, different art. The CCO is gone within these new things. All that is in yesterday's live stream if you check that out. Okay, so world news is on my timeline fairly often, and Australian currency is worthless, says real Dr. Brendan. We are headed for the Zimbabwe dollar. Soon a coffee will be $30 and a basic house, $10 million. Okay, so the house that they're showing here is about $4 million, which is pretty crazy, right? And so I looked it up and I was like, okay, if I'm going to put in, well, it was like 3,999,000. That equals like 357. Hold on a second. Oh my God. Yo, that's 3.5 million Canadian. What is going on in Australia? That's actually insane. First time I did this, I thought, oh no, it's like 357K. That seems like kind of weird. Like Canadian dollar's not that strong, but holy sweet mother of pearl. That's insane. Would you buy this house for 3 point whatever million Canadian? That's wild. So apparently crazy things are happening in Australia. We'll see what comes of that in the global currencies as a whole. Okay, so yesterday, Binance founder CZ was sentenced to 4 months, okay? And within the breakdown here, he has already agreed to a hefty $4.3 billion fine and a personal $50 million penalty. So the question is, what was CZ exactly doing? When we talk about the leverage markets and saying, oh yeah, it's Binance moving that, is this associated with it? Is this something that's happening before? We had another issue where there was a guy named like Richard Vev. I should have saved the tweet, but apparently they're charging him with like tax fraud for like 50 million Bitcoin that was bought way back in like 20 whatever. Like what in the hell is going on? It's crazy. Anyway, CZ out here, not in jail just yet, but apparently he's gotten 4 months in jail as well. Sorry, I kind of only focused on the money there. But he made a tweet saying, I would like to thank everyone for your care and support, be it writing letters, showing support on X, or in any other form. They all mean a lot to me and keep me strong. I will do my time, conclude this phase, and focus on the next chapter of my life, education. Seeing education pop up a lot more as of late. Curious if you guys have too. I will remain a passive investor and holder in crypto. Our industry has entered a new phase. Compliance is super important. A silver lining of this whole process is that Binance has been under the microscope and funds are safe. And his final message, protect users. CZ out here doing some work. Do you guys want to watch the Azuki first episode? I don't know if you guys have. We can do that. It's like 9 minutes. Let me know. If nobody says anything, we won't at the end. But if you do, let me know in the chat. Okay, this is coming from Poppy. Bitcoin ordinals. If you guys have been playing within Bitcoin ordinals, this is something that I saw and I was like, huh? So Poppy's saying, I was about to buy a Node Monkey, which is one of like the top Bitcoin NFTs that are out there. And two of my friends were like, pause. Not. All these ordinals are about to be unlocked from Merlin and hit the open market at the same time. Holy shiza, dodged a bullet. So there's 7,476 runestones, but for the node monkeys, there is almost 1,100 of them. Again, these collections are typically out of 10,000. Node monkeys might actually be less, but I'm pretty sure it's around 10,000. So having 1,000 of them that are coming out from this Merlin marketplace is very, very like, oh my God, the market might crash on that. So, and somebody's asking, what is Merlin? Because I've never heard of that either. And Poppy's saying it's a Bitcoin layer 2 that had everyone stake their ordinals. And just in this morning, Tether reports record-breaking profit of $4.52 billion for Q1 2024. Let me read that again. Tether, USDT, reports record-breaking profit of $4.52 billion for Q1 in 2024. That's insane. People are going to be paying attention. Okay. So we're going to go into two different takes here from different people that are playing various games or experiences. And the first one here from Bryson saying, my thoughts on Illuvium's private beta updates, which yesterday, again, they started doing their play to airdrop kind of campaign if you signed up for that. So the pros, the added tutorial is a W. Game feels a bit smoother. Overworld catching sequence moves the game closer to Palworld's open style. The game is graphically beautiful and feels vibrant, and Alluvial's running around the map helps with the game feeling a bit bare at the moment. And then the cons. Overworld still feels very bare with little to do, which I feel is a very common trend amongst any of these kind of like openisher worlds that are out there right now. Auto Battler is not my personal fave, so I want more stuff to do in Overworld. There are a lot of moving parts that seemingly need to be connected and can come off as confusing. Add missions, quests, goals, things that can aid the gamer participating and could increase stickiness, bring some lore to the game or world. And then at the same time as Illuvium is doing this, they also have a Steppen partnership, which is kind of interesting here. So we're seeing more IP from the Web3 realm joining up with other ones to create something that's magical and mystical. Now, the other game here we're going to be talking about is Parallel, TCG. Yo, Jeremy, who streams a lot, had kind of some takes on the Planetfall expansion they just dropped. Obvious shakeup in meta, improved readability, balancing of alpha cards, companion prime boost, least played parallel XP boost, disconnect penalty re-enabled, activation of new PF keys. Now, you probably have no idea what any of that means, but you know, as we do, because we fester on the negativity, the fun when we see the things that Dermy doesn't like. Launching the game still takes forever. No major UI or UX updates. Delayed Epic Games released, which I feel like there's a lot of games that are now on like Epic Games. And it's still cool, but it seems like a lot of them are on there. Are they actually like playable at all? It seems like no for the majority, so I'm curious if there's going to be like one big Web3 hurrah. Here's all the games, and it's kind of like as we're all locking arms, running through the Web2 crowd. Lack of marketing campaign before and on launch, and lack of pack drop on launch. No comms from Echelon on PF Snapshot. Underwhelming animations compared to the teaser, and no cinematic trailer for expansion set. Bugged launcher and memory leak issues causing frequent crashes. Okay, just beat it, brother. Okay, Persona Journey. I saw a little bit of a Harry Swan retweet this morning, so I thought I would bring that up. If you aren't paying attention to Persona Journey, you should be. Now, I want to preface this, you take your glasses on and just think of the verbiage used within this, and we'll kind of go over that and then reflect. Staking Persona NFTs allows you to earn upcoming UNA airdrop. Comes from Yanagi Studio, a crypto gaming studio founded by ex-talent from Ubisoft. Team has worked on games like Far Cry 3, The Division, and more, building out an ecosystem of games that will use UNA. 2 live games right now with over 500,000 signups, 50,000 monthly active users. Persona is at the core of their brand in the same way Mad Lads and Pudgy Penguins are for those brands. NFTs will come back late cycle. We've already seen this play out on a mini scale with the Solana ecosystem going through a mini bull cycle. Did we actually see Solana NFTs like move that much? I'm like genuinely asking. I know Mad Lads went kind of crazy, but I don't like the Froganas and some other things like had a moment, and then they had the Magic Eden Diamond rewards that I don't hear anything about that whatsoever anymore. So it's a little odd, but market cap is just 5 million today. Okay, so the things that I wanted to just kind of like preface with this is I don't know if it matters as much when you say that, hey, like, the studio is founded by X talent from Ubisoft, because everybody's kind of, everybody has like a mass amount of experience within like the topper Web3 collections out there. I mean, even some of the smaller ones. Team has worked on games like Far Cry 3, The Division, and more. Again, everybody kind of says that. And so do we still care about those like kind of finite details? Or is it something where we're just going to make up our mind once they have like something that we are interested in, right? And I see a lot of people hyping up what they're kind of getting into. And I think for the biggest problem with these things is like, hey, we can get airdrops, we can do these things. Like, if you just create something that people like want to experience or want to play in, and I mean, for Persona, like I've always thought like the style of it was really, really cool. I really liked it a lot, and I was like, hey, if they're doing more with that, that's cool. But I don't know. I feel like it's interesting the wording choices that people have within things. But Persona had a hell of a lot of fun, but good to see that they're out there talking. And Harry Swan is loving it because this guy's picking up all of them. Okay, the collapse of Starbucks is truly insane. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, we had the Starbucks can, their Web3 program. So did they do that because it was failing or because there was troubles to brew elsewhere? So apparently, company-wide same-store sales fell 4% and traffic fell 6% this quarter. In China, same-store sales plunged 11% with an 8% decline in average order. International same-store sales fell 6%, while a 1.4% gain was expected, and management lowered revenue growth guidance from 7% to low single digits, and most loyal customers are looking for discounts. True. It is kind of expensive, and also the drive-through. They like make you tip. It's the only drive-through I've ever been to where they like hand you the machine, and it's supposed to be like a quick kind of tap, and they're like, they hold it, and then you got to like click like, do you want a tip or not? It's just, it's freaking weird. Okay, final thing, we're going to skip the Azuki trailer or the episode at the end again if you want to check that out on YouTube or elsewhere. It's kind of a quick one here. Apparently on Weibo in China, it is exploding, going viral right now, which is really, really good. And we'll see kind of what the ramifications in like a good way are from that exposure in that sense. But Alex here is saying some thoughts on the current crypto cycle. Number one, the crypto cycle has been almost entirely driven by the Bitcoin ETF. Number two, ETH has been a major disappointment, but it has performed well overall for stakers and airdrop farmers. Solana established itself as the chain of choice for retail traders, demonstrating perfect product market fit, overtaking Ethereum. Then it became congested, stopped working, and crashed. Then came Base, positioning itself as a legitimate Solana competitor on the retail front. Meme coins have dominated the narrative alongside Bitcoin. Most have now gone to zero. However, large cap meme coins rank among the strongest performance of the year. Still exhibiting a significant returns despite the correction, meme coins have established themselves as a viable asset in their own right. I would maybe argue that this is like the biggest point out of all of this. Like, okay, sure, like the market cycle is with the Bitcoin ETFs, yada, yada, yada. But the narratives around meme coins have completely changed, because before it really felt like, okay, there was one or two meme coins where we can use Pepe as an example that just exploded out of nowhere. And then it felt like more and more were happening. And then it felt like that there was an entire group of the community that was out there from ETH NFTs, Solana NFTs, just the Web3 space in general, that all kind of converged within the memes, and people created these theses, and the narrative completely shifted over the past few months that, hey, memes could potentially be here to stay. Right. And you might think like, okay, like that was, the case before. But I think for anybody that's newer within the markets have seen how many people have talked about that. And so now it's just, it's an established narrative. Number 6, there have been barely any new retail coming into crypto. It's been mostly ETF buyers and previous cycle participants redeploying and going out the risk curve. Okay, so for anybody that's followed me on X, I've posted various videos of esports players and streamers that I watch that have brought up comments regarding crypto, from Overwatch, League of Legends. The other day, I was watching the for anybody that wants like the actual specifics. There's a couple of streamers, Dantes, Tarzan, Detention, and they're down in Brazil right now, and they're competing in like this tournament essentially, and they talk on stream all the time about how Tarzan's like, oh, I lost like $10,000, and then Dantes is responding to him saying, so you bought a shit coin for $10,000, it went to zero, and you're complaining about it. And I'm like, damn, like this is like popping up in like my daily streams across the board, and it's been like that for several months. So I don't know what to think about like new retail coming into crypto, if these guys were in it before, if like I don't know, but it feels like there's a lot of people that are at least aware of the space and participating more than you would think. But we just say like there's no new retail coming in. I could be wrong with that. Most crypto market participants missed the Bitcoin ETF run due to PTSD. Too many then went all in on altcoins to compensate for the missed bull run. They deployed late and poorly, going in larger at higher levels, and are now seething and at a loss, as too many altcoins have given up their entire 2024 gains in the last month. Well, I mean, so this is an interesting take with like the assumption of like, yeah, the majority of people bought in late and now they're wrecked. Well, I mean, the markets move the way they are. Are people like leverage trading? Are they, I mean, things move, right? Like, is it all about being late? If everything ends up going like rocking back up, it's kind of, you know, recency bias, if you will. The market started to get flooded with both scammy meme launches and cash grabbing founders around February. These founders focus on making a quick buck and generating short-term hype rather than longevity. And I would respond to this saying that, well, that just shows like there's a huge lack of stuff to do within the space, right? Like it's still, you can change, you can trade these currencies, you can maybe play a couple of different like Web3 games within there, but most people don't have like something that they do where, you know, let's just say there's a metaverse that everybody wants to participate in and hang out every day, where it's not revolving around having to spend money, because that's what it is 90% of the time. There are too many layer 2s. These have become commoditized, and with a few exceptions, most are wildly overvalued. But A16Z just put 90 million into Optimism, and Optimism, if we look right quickly here, I remember looking and I was like, that's actually like an absurd amount. So Optimism's market cap right now is 2.6 billion, and A16Z put 90 million into that. So again, rather big chunk right there of that market cap. And number 10, this cycle is not over, but the session of XFeed is. So that's what I call it off. I appreciate you guys coming through in here. Hope you guys like the update. Mr. Harry Swan, Mo Fluff, absolute pleasure seeing you guys in here. Skull Kid and Mr. M Tolly as well every single day. You guys are absolutely crazy.